Hi, everyone. I am Shannon Pruitt. I am the Global Chief Marketing Officer of Stagwell Brand Performance Network, and we are here at Sport Beach 2025 for Stagwell at the Cannes Lion Festival of Creativity, and I am very delighted to be here with Marissa Jarratt, who is the Global Chief Marketing and Sustainability Officer for 7-Eleven.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Marissa.
So glad to be here.
Me too. We're grinding it out at the end here. We're doing it. So welcome, everyone. So excited. Marissa's here. She has like a lot going on, which is so exciting and great, and has recently, this week is like kind of a big deal for you because released some research that is highly, and released some research that is both highly relevant, and you have hard-earned this research, have hard-earned the findings from this research, and you are going to share it with all of the world that is going to watch this, which is so great. Can you talk a little bit? It's about, brand, cultural relevance. Can you talk in a fragmented world? As it turns out, the world is fragmented. Who knew? Can you talk a little bit about it? And actually the impetus for the research, because we'll dig into some of the results, which are also amazing. But can you just talk a little about the impetus for the research?
Well, I mean, like so many brands, 7-Eleven is constrained with resources. We're trying to reach our customers in a relevant way in a fragmented media world. I mean, we serve 12 million customers per day in North America alone, and that's really everyone, right? So we're constantly looking for ways to not just reach them, but really build emotional engagement. And what we've learned over the last couple of years through experimentation with different partners is that when we align our brand values with our customers' values, and those values are shared with the partner, could be a media platform, could be a creator, could be an organization, that those activations and initiatives perform much better. They perform better in terms of emotional relevance, building with the brand, cultural relevance, building with the brand, and actually commercial outcomes.
Yeah, I mean, when you were telling me about the research, and so kind to share it with me in advance, I got a sneak peek. It feels like almost like over the last 6 years, right? You've been there for 6 years, you said.
Yeah.
Loyalty transformation, building our, making sure we're nurturing our audiences and the people that care about us, and not just like in this sort of, and a lot of brands are, right? They're in constant search of like CAC, right?
Yep.
What's your customer acquisition?
Yep.
What, and it really does feel like 7-Eleven's like more like LTV, like what's the long-term value of our customer?
We're doing it a little different. We're flipping, kind of starting at a mass level or finding affinities with our brand to actually starting at a niche level. And again, starting with the values component, understanding where are the shared values, and then how do we tap into different communities or fandoms or niches that may represent a very small percentage of the general population, but that have a very common shared value that can be more broadly appealing. Those fans will completely amplify and magnify the message and help us achieve a much broader scale reach and engagement. And so we've kind of flipped the model on its head, and that's what's driving better outcomes. As I mentioned before, not only is the cost of the acquisition or the marketing investment better, but the actual commercial outcomes. So customers who see these activations, who agree that they represent their values, are actually more valuable to 7-Eleven. They shop the brand more often, they spend more money, they're more valuable, they're more loyal. So it makes sense from a business perspective as well as a brand building perspective.
It's so interesting because like as an unlock for that, right? Like, I grew up in we talked about this, I grew up in a small town, Ashland, Oregon, like where we all, congregated, 7-Eleven. But that has carried through in my life, so it's really interesting. You develop this affinity, young age, older age, whatever. But your attention to this, which is what I love, like the results of this are so amazing, which is, I think last year you won 3 Cannes Lions, right?
Yeah.
So
we won 4.
4.
But we won 3.
Sorry, no big deal. Just 4, not 3, guys, not 3.
The most for any U.S. retailer. But 3 of them were specifically for an activation that is part of the research that we released this week.
Yeah, so can you talk a little more about it? Because it is fascinating, again, like in the world where we're always searching for the new and the next, and customers, content, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Your loyalty, your commitment to your customers paid off both both in results from in the store, right? Which matters, as it turns out, very deeply.
Yeah.
But also here in terms of acknowledging the work that you've done. Can you talk a little bit more about it?
So last year, 7-Eleven earned 3 Lions for work we did with Jamar Chase, which I think will be really relevant for your audience.
Yeah. We're here at Sport Beach, everybody.
Yes. So Jamar Chase is the wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals, and a couple of years ago, he was frustrated for not having been thrown the ball more frequently, which, happens a lot for wide receivers. After the game, he posted that he's always open, and he posted a picture of a 7-Eleven. And so this is an example of a reactive kind of engagement by 7-Eleven. We saw this. We went a little bit bananas that Sunday afternoon. We reached out to Jamar Chase's team, and within about 48 hours, we had a partnership with him, such that the next week that he was on the field, he was wearing 7-Eleven gear. And that moment really turned into more of momentum. Over the last couple of years, we've partnered with Jamar. We've actually developed multiple capsule collections. He's actually been a spokesperson for our isotonic beverage called Replenish. And so we're continuing to kind of help nurture his role, but also he's helping to provide visibility to the brand. So what's different about the Jamar Chase partnership is 7-Eleven is not an NFL sponsor. We just don't have the budgets to invest at that level. We're constantly looking for ways to hack that, though, because sports are such an important part of our customers' interests. So in this instance, what we did was understand that Jamar Chase, his values of hard work, of being entrepreneurial, of being, going out there and getting it match and align very closely with those of our customers. So even if our customers didn't know who Jamar Chase was, didn't like or root for the Cincinnati Bengals, they loved the activation. And it endeared them more to the brand and resulted in better commercial outcomes.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because, we've only recently met. And the way that you are nurturing this group of people who are already loyal to you, which we all want to feel valuable and relevant, right? It's just like a human need.
Yeah.
It's a human need. It's like on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like number 3.
Yeah.
As it turns out. But and it's fun because you've made it fun, right? And you're part of every community, right? Which is amazing. So you have a name for your group of customers, your loyalty, your CRM, all of us marketing people, right?
Yeah.
CRM.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about the Brain Freeze, which I love. I think it's
the
amazing.
Brain Freeze Collective.
Yeah, the Brain Freeze Collective. I love it so much.
Okay. Well, we're so lucky at 7-Eleven. We have over 100 million loyalty members in North America.
Wait, 100 million? I mean,
Yes.
Can any brand aspire to have 100 million?
There are a few out there who shall remain nameless for this podcast, but we're very fortunate. I mean, think about it. For 7-Eleven, 50% of the U.S. population lives within 2 miles of one of our stores. So we have a huge physical footprint that really facilitates this connection with a large number of customers. So 100 million loyalty members. We've actually created a proprietary customer research panel that we call the Brain Freeze Collective, where we've invited members in this loyalty community to opt in and give us feedback and participate in kind of the crafting of 7-Eleven. So currently we have over 300,000 members. They participate in research studies, qualitative and quantitative, and we really utilize that group to understand, what our customers want, need, how can we better serve them. They're representative of Gen Pop, and we can slice and dice them, a million different ways, right? And tie all of them to purchase what they're actually purchasing in the store as well. So it's a great tool. It's a great resource. We leverage it also with our partners so that we can get better and smarter together. Yeah. But it's called the Brain Freeze Collective because when you drink a Slurpee, you get a brain freeze.
I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. When you said the name, I'm like, that is so genius.
Well, and we utilize the Brain Freeze Collective in this research because after the Jamar Chase partnership, we also have been doing some work with car culture. We thought, how do we, we're seeing some success, but how do we systematize this? How do we operationalize it and get smarter and better at it? So we actually use Brain Freeze Collective to kind of reverse prove the thesis on niche at scale.
Yeah, okay.
And so we learned again that our customers are definitely identifying their values in these activations, that they're spending more with us, and that they have a higher degree of equity or relevance or engagement with the brand as a result.
Yeah, it's really amazing. So yesterday I was with Michael LaCarrazza, who's the CMO of US Bank. Like the same, every community, and we were sort of talking about this power of looking looking at the values of your audience, your customers, looking into your communities, and thinking about culture. And it was funny because I was like, oh, there's parallel. I mean, in a very unique way, parallels.
Yeah.
But you have, in the spirit of that, you have some news that you are here around Cannes talking about that also is a derivative of this. And it's super fun. So, please talk
Let me tell you about it.
Yeah, please do.
Well, some other collections that we've launched in the last couple of years were focused on golf. And I always like to say, not the PGA country club style of golf, but really more of the Muni style of golf. The more casual, the more playful, golf enthusiasts or hobbyists. So we've known that there's something there, which seems very kind of surprising or maybe counterintuitive. 7-Eleven and golf, how do they go together? Other than maybe when you're going to play golf or coming back, you need to stop and get a drink.
Yeah. And traditionally seen as sort of a country club sport.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Even though, to your point,
exactly,
lots of little par threes and all the things in lots of communities.
So for 7-Eleven customers, it's actually much more broadly appealing. And we know this because in the last 2 years, we've done 2 different golf capsule collections that have sold out overnight. So this year, we were trying to understand how do we refresh the golf collection? We know we've tapped into something.
And before you keep going, maybe what is a golf collection for 7-Eleven?
Oh,
what is that?
Yes,
what is that?
Yes.
Talk about that.
It's all about golf style. Okay, this is not a performance collection, to be clear. So we launched a vintage button-up shirts from the 7-Eleven uniform collection,
oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Bucket hats. We actually even launched a white leather golf bag, tees, golf balls. I mean, all of the accoutrement that you would want for a golf game. And people just loved it. Again, I think it's kind of a playful, fun interpretation of the sport.
Yeah.
So this year we thought, there's a high degree of fascination and interest also in Japanese culture. Yeah. Some people may not know 7-Eleven is actually owned by a Japanese company. And if you've visited Japan, you may have been to a 7-Eleven and noticed it's quite a different experience than what we have in the States.
Indeed.
And so there's a lot of fascination in America around Japan. And if you know anything about Japanese golf, you know that it's very different from American golf. So we thought, what if we mashed them up? So this week, we are launching an exclusive preview at Cannes called the 7-Eleven Midnight Driving Club, which is a Japanese golf capsule collection. And it's an advanced teaser for the full capsule, which will launch this fall. Yeah. So we've got some goodies handed out at Cannes. Hopefully you're able to get one.
I got some down here.
Can I show
it?
Please do.
Okay. Let's show it on camera. People. Okay, first of all, it comes in a great bag.
Cute little bag.
I love the bag. Okay, but let's get into this.
Okay.
You talk about this. Item.
Those of Japanese culture will recognize some of these types of hats. So you've got a cool visor hat.
Very important in Japan. So I told you, I lived in Japan for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So I used to go to 7-Eleven all the time. And you're right.
So
like onigiri in the,
So there's a handkerchief here, which people have really appreciated this week as we've had to dab the sweat off of
ourselves a little.
And then just some fun pins that help explain what it is.
Flare. The flare is the thing.
The flare is a big deal. And then we have a bucket hat. I've already given it out to someone outside of the studio.
Okay. They need it because it's hot outside.
They need it.
Yeah.
But we'll have an expanded collection available online at 7 Collection this fall. So more to come there.
So fun. So I'm gonna go. My son is a big golfer now.
Oh, perfect.
So this is gonna be so fun. He's gonna be like, Mom, you're like, he loves when I go on these trips. He's like, this is so great. Well, it's so fun. So, and you're being so generous with your research.
Yes.
So, will you talk a little, like, how can people get a hold of this research? Because it's very powerful. You sent it to me again, like, and just some of the findings. But I thought it was so interesting and kind of it corroborates and also provides guidance for how to think about actually activating, which I think the tangible elements of like, it's nice. We all talk a lot about like, oh, I have a theory on da-da-da. But this is really tangible about not only how you did it, what you did it, the results of what you did, but also like how to do it.
Yeah.
So how can the people
how
find
to access it? Yeah. Well, check out my recent post on LinkedIn. You can find me there. And if you're interested, I'm happy to send you the research. So just feel free to direct message me and I'll send it your way.
But
there's a little summary on LinkedIn. You can get the high level so what about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me.
Thank you,
here.
Shannon.
It's
I really appreciate it. It's been so fun.
Exciting. Do check out the research. It's fantastic. And also get your midnight driving collection.
Yes. And Shannon, for you, arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimashita. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. And sayonara. No, also, if you please do look for this particular content series on YouTube, Stagwell's YouTube channel, LinkedIn. Marissa will be there. So delighted. Thank you again.
Thanks, Shannon.
Yeah.